All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, as you can see on the screen here, we've got some Shanks lined up for today. Okay, we got a little bit of Shanks action lined up for today. Guys, OP09 is about a month away for us over here in the West. I don't think we have an exact release date yet, but it's coming out in roughly 1 month for us over here in the West. So it is time to start preparing. It is time to start learning the cards and, you know, seeing what we need to do, right? Start making preparations now. So today we're going to be getting into that. Let me go ahead and break down today's video for you guys because we do have other things to go over as well. First things first, we're going to head over to the lab and check out a game of Vegapunk versus Black Yellow Luffy. That should be very interesting. After that, we're going to go discuss the topic of the day, which is going to be talking about new mechanics. Okay, maybe introducing new mechanics in the future of One Piece TCG. That should be a lot of fun to talk about. I don't think that'll be a very... sometimes our topics of the day are pretty spicy. I don't think that one will be. I think that one will just be kind of fun and interesting, and I can't wait to see what you guys say about that. After that, we're going to head over to the sim. We got 4 games of Shanks lined up that I'll be playing, or that I'll be showing you guys that I played. And then we're going to go over the deck list, and we'll wrap things up in that way. Okay, guys? Very straightforward video, very standard for the channel. If you guys have any, comments, questions, or suggestions, by all means, don't ever be afraid to leave those down in the comment section. And I'll have everything timestamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links down in the comment section below. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's get into it. Okay. Let me get the leader off the screen here. And actually, let me hit play real quick before I explain this. Here we go. So, first things first, guys, we do have the VV Lab. If you're a newer player or a newer listener to the channel, what is the lab? So this very beginning part of each one of my videos, I try to dedicate to basically like free coaching, a miniature version of free coaching, where these are community submitted games. This is not me playing. Random members of the community submit their games for me to review on videos like this, because guys, I do a daily video, right? So this is just extra content we try to add to each video, where hopefully it helps out some of the newer players or even the intermediate level players get to the next level. So if you're interested in me reviewing one of your games, very easy to set up. It's a 3-step process. 1 is record your game, right? Record the game you want me to review. Number 2 is upload it to YouTube. And then number 3 is you hop on the VV Theory Discord. The link is in the channel description. Okay, the link to my Discord is in this channel's the VV Theory channel description. Okay, so hop on there, and I have a channel called Review My Games in the Discord. Hop in there, put the link to your video, and as soon as I see it, I give it the thumbs up emoji, and whenever it's your turn in line, you're up. So very, very simple to set up. And if you have any questions on that, please don't be afraid to ask. Now, let's get into this game. We have a game of Black Yellow Luffy versus Vegapunk. Excuse me, guys. You might hear me clearing my throat quite a bit today, guys, because my allergies are just kind of going crazy. Okay, so the volume is off, speed is on 2x, the quality's up as high as it will go, and here we go, guys. Let's do this. Okay. So, Black Yellow Luffy versus Vegapunk, if I had to guess, I feel like Black Yellow Luffy is probably a little bit favored into Vegapunk. I could be wrong, I don't know for sure, but it does feel like with all the 5-cost characters, they can combat Vegapunk pretty well. And then as the game goes on, they start getting cards from their trash with Gecko Moria. But I'm sure it's not a cakewalk. I'm sure it's not an easy matchup. So beginning of the game here is just very standard procedure. They're trying to set things up. Still running Makino in this list. Very nice. Some decks I feel like have gone down to a few Makinos. I feel like I almost never see them get played out. So what did they set? Hang on. Let's check out what was set there, guys. Hang on. Let me get caught up. Excuse me. So check this out, guys. They played out the Makino, which draws the top or bottom card of your life, and then you get to arrange the remaining cards in your life in the order that you want. So they set the Luffy first, and they're going to be able to play that out next turn with the 2-cost Luffy in their hand. Very nice. That'll help them get a good start to this game. Like I said, you don't see Makino get used very often, but it does come up. Okay, actually, they put the 2-cost Luffy up first. So maybe next turn they're going to play out Hiyori and set the Sabo there, and then use the 2-cost Sabo in hand to fix that. We'll have to see what happens. Okay, now I do not pre-watch these, by the way. I have absolutely no idea what happens, but that's the only thing that would make sense for the play they just did, because Vegapunk can't attack, so they're not going to attack into you. Yep, looks like we're going to take the top card. We're going to put in the, I think we should put in the Sabo, right? Yeah, okay, nice. They put in the Sabo. Now they can play out the Sabo, draw 2, trash 2. They can fix their hand a little bit. I'd get rid of the Luffy there, and I would even consider getting rid of one of the Garps. Absolutely. We're on the exact same page, me and this person here. Swing it for 7. What was the card they had on top? What was that, an Edison? Yeah, they had an Edison on top. Okay. I'm not sure why they didn't play that out, or is that one of the cards that's restricted where you have to have 2 or less life or something like that? I can't remember his trigger exactly. But they play out a Shaka on top, so here we go. They got 2 Shakas lined up, and the Luffy is just pulling cards out of life right now and buffing and going very wide. I completely agree with this decision here. Okay, we only had one option to get there from that Garp Surge. Luckily, we had a Luffy we could snag. Very good. And we're on a 6 Dawn turn as the Luffy. Are we going to attack here? It's a little bit dangerous to attack, but at the same time, we are a 7,000 power leader this turn. So it's not, like, impossible for us to, you know, defend out of this. But I would have probably left my blocker open. I'd have probably left my blocker, like, not swing with it, I mean. Just swing for 7 with the leader and go about things that way. Maybe even swing for like 10 or something with the leader since we had 3 Dawn. But notice on the board here, we've played out 2 2K counters. So they know those are 2 2K counters we do not have access to anymore. Okay. Vegapunk's turn here. He's trying to see what he wants to do. Yeah, see, now he's considering going for life. I like that. So now they'll swing for 9 more. And now we can pretty much... Oh, man. We are going to barely squeak out of this one with 3 cards left in hand. However, I do think that was kind of a greedy play by Vegapunk. I don't think they needed to do all that. I think they could have just, like, swing 7. That gets 4 cards out of hand. And then they could do the rest, you know, whatever else they want to do with the turn. But I don't know what's in their hand either. You know, we don't know what's in the other player's hand. But now, pause. So we are down to 0 life with the Black Yellow Luffy, and they were able to use their effect here. Let me go backwards. So with 8 Dawn, they're going to attach 2 to the leader. They're going to put 2 cards into life. It looks like we forgot to use the Luffy here, the 5-cost Luffy on the board. Yeah, it looks like whoopsie daisy. We forgot to use the effect for the Luffy on the board. So pause. We have to go back, guys. Black Yellow Luffy is an extremely technical deck. Okay, don't let people tell you otherwise. Some people say, "Oh, that deck's broken. It's so easy to win with." It's just simply not. I'm not saying once you get good at it, it doesn't become easier to win with. But I'm saying that, like, ultimately, this is a very technical deck, and this is an example of someone accidentally making a mistake here, doing things out of sequencing, like doing things out of order. So this is how the turn started, right here, okay? They have 8 Dawn for the turn. They have 4 cards in hand. None of those cards are going to help them from their hand, to be honest. But what they need to do here is they need to gain life with their leader effect. However, before they do that, they need to use that 5-cost Luffy on the board. And he says, trash the top card of your life and gain plus 2,000 power for the turn. Well, here's the thing. If you have no cards in your life, he does work. I don't remember the exact wording on it, but you can use him right now when you have 0 life cards and go plus 2,000 power for the turn, which will help you take out these Shakas. Right? Because we can't swing into Nami right now. We can't swing into life into the Vegapunk. I mean, theoretically, we can try, but that's just not a good idea. It's just not a good idea. So just go for the board in this situation. And before we do that, we need to use the Luffy's effect before we gain life from the leader. Okay, so they attach 2, and they're going to trash a card from hand, which is the Garp. I mean, I would consider trashing the Ice Age at this point, but we'll see. Maybe that will come in handy later. So they gain those 2 life cards there. But here's the problem. Excuse me. They still have these characters on the board, and we have to get rid of them. Okay, load the rest on the 5-cost Luffy. That thing's got to go, man. That thing's got to go. Swing for 7. Okay. Saying maybe you're trying to take 2K counters from your opponent's hand. I do like that. But what else are we going to do with this Dawn right here? Swing 5 at face. Now he's going to pop the blocker, right? So I don't know what... Yeah, right here I would use the blocker, trash a card from hand, pop the blocker. Did I say that correctly? Hang on, guys. So yeah, they would take the hit here, use the Nami, trashing a card from hand to pop the blocker. Did they get to draw a card too? Hang on, was that like the perfect situation there? Boom, boom. Yeah, they even got to draw a card. So that was literally perfection from the Vegapunk side. And why aren't we going for the Shaka? I mean, I guess we don't have to, by the way. We don't have to go for Shaka. But if I'm the Vegapunk player right here, I'm definitely going into your life. I'm going to try to take that card out. At least to the best of my ability. Who knows? We'll have to see what happens here. I don't know what's in the Vegapunk's hand either. That's the other big issue here. So, guys, whenever you can attack into a Luffy... Okay, that was weird. 7 into 6. Oh, wow. Pushing the Makino into life. That's annoying. That's very annoying. Interesting. What are we going to do now? Actually, I don't think it changes much, to be honest. I don't think it really changes too much. Wow, that even shut down the ace, guys. That was a crazy play from the Vegapunk. Have to take the top life card. Hey, Katakuri, very strong into this. So going to play this out, going to play that out. Okay, they could still do everything they needed. They just can't gain life at the end of this turn. But they're a 9,000 power leader. They get to draw 2, trash 2, I'd get rid of the ace and the Ice Age. I don't know what we're hanging on to this Ice Age for, because we don't have any of the 5-cost Luffys in our hand that pop characters. Okay, 9 into 6. Yeah, I don't think they're going to save that. And now we do have a blocker. We have 0 counter power. And, yeah, let's see what happens here. So, for sure, the first thing they need to do is just at least swing 9 with the Katakuri. If they don't swing 9 with Katakuri, I feel like it's going to be a mistake. Because you have to get cards out of your opponent's hand or force characters off the board. Okay, so let's see what happens here. So they played out the Lilith, and then they also used the top 5 searcher. So they grabbed the Man with the World's Greatest Brain, and then the Iroquois' Help is what they searched up. So the Lilith got the top 5 searcher. The top 5 searcher got the Iroquois' Help, the card on the screen right there. Pause and read that if you need to. And that's going to be very nice for bringing back a Shaka from the trash. Like I said, guys, if they don't swing for 9 here, I think it's just a strict play mistake. Wow. Very, very interesting. Okay, let's see what happens here. And we actually drew, like, the perfect card, guys. I feel like we drew the perfect card for what we needed right here. Now we can trash the ace. Yep. And then put maybe a Sabo and a ace on top. Yep, very nice in that order, in that exact order. And yet again, guys, we got a little bit... We messed up a little bit with the Monkey D. Luffy there. We should have gained plus 2,000 first. A little bit of a sequencing issue on the 5-cost Luffy right here. This one right here. Okay? They pull out... Hang on, what happened right there? Oh, they pulled out the Nami from the trash to pop the Sabo. And now let's see what we can do. I still think not swinging with that Katakuri last turn was an absolute mistake. I'm sorry. I know they could have swung into it, but it's like you're daring them. Go ahead and swing into my Katakuri. That way you're not taking me out. And, okay, now they're in trouble. Okay, swing 7. Play out the 2-cost ace. Swing 7 more and swing 9. Yeah, this might be game. Yeah, that's how ace works. Oh, yeah, there's no way, right? There's absolutely no way. Pause. GG, that was a very good game. But I will say this, playing out the shot... So, like I said, if they had swung for 9 last turn to begin with, like, playing out that 5-cost Luffy had 0 advantage. By the way, us hanging out to Ice Age the whole game also had no advantage. I feel like we should have probably trashed that a little bit earlier for more counters in hand, like, just 1K counters and stuff like that. It'd have been a different story if we had our 5-cost Luffy that pops, the Rocket Boots Luffy. Excuse me. Look, our opponent had all of our Rocket Boots Luffy. They had one in their hand, 1 in the trash, and 1 on the board. But we just didn't get to any. However, let me go back just a smidge right here. So, first of all, to this turn right here. Yeah, playing that out. No, I want to get to the Vegapunk's turn. Give me just a second, guys. Okay, right here. So, now we're on the Vegapunk's turn here on their turn 6. They play out Lilith. I like that play. That grabs a top 5 searcher. They play it out. They grab your Iroquois' Help. I love all of that. All of that was excellent. But here's where I feel like they messed up. Right here, so they add the Iroquois' Help to the top of their life. Are we on 2x speed? Yeah, we are. They add that to the top of their life. That's still great, because you can bring back a Shaka, a Lilith, or excuse me, a Nami, you name it. But then I feel like they mess up right here. I feel like they mess up right here. Because I would have forced a card out of their hand or a card off the board right here. I would not worry about establishing the Luffy. I would have put the remaining... well, hang on a second. In fact, there's probably something else no, never mind. I was going to say maybe put the Luffy in a life just to gain life and sit on the Iroquois' Help in case you need to counter out big. But right here, let me go back to before they played out the Luffy. Bare minimum, I'm swinging for 9 at face here because it forces one of two things. Either A, it gives me a card from their hand. Guess what? There is no card they can give me from their hand. So they have to give me a body on the board. And if they have to give me a body on the board, it's going to be the Sabo, right? Well, in that case, now I don't play Iroquois' Help, to my life. I actually just hang on to that, and I put a Luffy into my life. Okay, still play out. They played out the Lilith and all that was fine, but you could add the Luffy to life and sit on the 3K counter in hand. That's one option. That way, you still have the 3 life to go through. They lost an attacker, and I just feel like there's a lot of different things. I feel like that could have changed a lot. And by the way, one thing they could have done with the Luffy was, like, if they added the Rocket Boots Luffy to life instead of Iroquois' Help, is they could have used it to pop the Garp. But whatever the case is, not swinging here with the the whatever his name is, Katakuri, that's got to be a mistake, like every single time. Putting out a Luffy on the board did absolutely nothing. In fact, all it did was take a counter out of their hand. All it did was take a counter out of their hand. Okay, still a very good game. Good stuff for the Black Yellow Luffy player. Let's go ahead and, we already went through the whole thing, right? Yeah, he swung in with the aces and GG. Good stuff. Swing 9, and they concede. Very good. Good game. Great submission. Very interesting matchup. I feel like you don't see Black Yellow Luffy versus Vegapunk very often, but hey, that was a fun one. Okay, now let's go ahead and hop over to the topic of the day. These are quickly becoming like my favorite parts of each video, guys, because I just love rambling, right? I just love yapping. So of course these are naturally my absolute favorite parts of the video now, of each of my, like, you know, regular daily uploads. Okay, let me adjust my camera real quick, and then we can get straight into this. Okay, good enough. All right. So guys, topic of the day: introducing new mechanics in the future. Let me go ahead and read this comic real quick from the Jedsters, I think is how you say that, the Jedsters. So right here, guys, maybe for a topic of the day, what could be some new mechanics that can expand the game without making it unnecessarily complex or broken? Is it too early in One Piece's life to introduce these? Or is it even possible at all? Thanks again for the... Okay, awesome. So great question. Okay, guys, we have to talk about that. This is an absolutely outstanding question. Of course, I have to adjust my camera one more time, guys. I think that's a little bit better. Now, hear me out. Absolutely. I think that you can definitely introduce new mechanics into this game. I have actually already done a video on this a year ago. So in the past, when my channel was still very small, I did a video on this. And we're actually going to look at that a little bit. I'm just going to kind of talk over it. So to answer the question, like introducing new mechanics into the future, absolutely, I think that would be a great idea. Even new card types, right? And I'm not talking about types like, you know, Straw Hats and whatever, like Straw Hats, Whitebeard Pirates, Navy, Dressrosa, Supernova, whatever, right? No, but check this out, guys. All right, we're going to look at one of my older videos here. I will link this video in the comment section below. I had an idea for exploring attributes a while back. Now, some people might be asking, because by the way, I'm also going to work attributes into this video, because that's an underexplored mechanic. Excuse me, guys. So real quick, let me explain real quick here. You see at the very top right of every card, I know it's hard to see in this little tiny picture, but there's these 5 symbols at the top right of every card. At the top right of every single character card, one of these 5 symbols will appear, and on leader cards, actually. Leader cards and character cards, they all have one of these 5 symbols in the top right. Now, a lot of people don't even notice these. And to be fair, there's not a lot of use of them in the game currently. Let me go ahead and bring... I had some on the screen there, but I think probably the most used attribute, character, or however you want to say that in the game, is probably this one. Notice what Dracula Mihawk does. It's a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 2k counter, 7 warlords, and Shikaru Kingdom, or however you say that, type character. But listen to his on-play effect. If you have 2 or less characters, play up to 1 4-cost or lower Shigeru Kingdom type or / trait character card other than Dracula Mihawk from your hand rested. And then, of course, there is Buggy. We were looking at the Buggies. Let me bring that up real quick. Excuse me. This character says, this character cannot be KO'd when battling / attribute characters and leaders. So, in other words, no matter how many times this leader attacks into Buggy, it will never KO him. It cannot. He is completely immune to it. Same thing with, like, Rayleigh, right? And that's, you know, a lot of these attribute-related effects are very much related to the lore of One Piece and to, you know, things like the devil fruits and things like that. There's a specific reason for that. And that's going to be a topic for another day where I want to talk about how some of these effects that are based off lore might not necessarily be that good for the game, even though they're still kind of cute, I guess, and they make sense as far as the lore goes. Like this one, you know, 6-cost, 8,000 power boa, on play up to one of your opponent's characters other than Monkey D. Luffy cannot attack until the end of their next turn, then, you know, then blah, blah, blah. So he can, technically speaking, Boa can lock down any character in the game that costs 6 or less. other than Monkey D. Luffy. And we all know what that's for. I don't no spoilers for anyone who might not be that far along in the show or something, but we know what that's all about. Okay, it's cool, I guess, from a fan standpoint, like people who watch the anime or who read the manga. I think that's very cool, but when it comes to like balancing a game, I don't know how great of an idea that is. But hey, I don't think there's been anything bad that's happened from it just yet. Like another one is Enel, right? Enel's another one. Let me bring that up. Enel, whoops, not purple, yellow. Excuse me. This character, if this character were to be removed from the field, you may trash the top card of your life instead. However, if the character Monkey D. Luffy is on the field, this effect may not be activated. So you see what's going on there, guys? Like this character is very, very resilient. Like he can prevent any type of removal unless there is a Luffy on the field. So it's very cool. It's very thematic. I understand, but at the same time, from a game balance standpoint, it's not exactly, in my opinion, it's not exactly, you know, the best way to go about doing things. But who knows? Maybe they're balancing that around the fact that there are a lot of Monkey D. Luffy characters in the game, so it's almost a way to get around super powerful effects like Enel and super powerful effects like Boa Hancock. Right? Actually, can Boa lock down any character, guys? Am I just crazy? I think I just completely butchered that. It just popped in my head like, wait a minute. This character, up to one of your opponent's characters other than Luffy cannot attack this turn. Yeah, so excuse me, it can lock down one character no matter what their cost is. I said 6 or less, guys. It's like no matter what their cost is. So anyway, very cool stuff here. All right, now back to what we were talking about. There are not a lot of cards that mess around with attributes yet. However, that's not a bad thing, and I do think that going forward, I have an idea I'm going to show you guys in here. I do think that Bandai or Cardass is the people who developed the game, from what I understand. Bandai is just the parent company that like owns the rights to the game. So it's like, okay, they actually have so much potential going forward. Because have you guys ever noticed how this game has not explored devil fruits or weapons or things like that? So let me give you guys some examples of like some ideas that I've had that Bandai can go forward with if they choose to, if they want to make the game a little bit more complex, not too much. Like the original poster said here, you know, maybe is there a way to do it without making it unnecessarily complex or broken? I think the answer is yes, and I think they can do it really based around these slash attributes. I think that we can do a lot of really cool stuff. So check this out, guys. We're going to fast forward through my video a little bit. So understand real quick that there are 5 different kinds of cards in the game of One Piece. There are leader cards. There are dawn cards. Those start outside of your deck, right? But then there's only 3 kinds of cards that can be inside of your deck. Characters, events, and stages. What if they were to add a new type of card? I think this would be very interesting, and I think it'd be very healthy for the game if done correctly. So let me show you guys what I came up with. And this was, like I said, if you can notice down here, it says 1 year ago. Oh, you guys probably can't. Let me zoom or scroll down. Look at this, guys. I put this video out like 1 year ago, and I'll put it in the comment section for those who might want to check it out. But I was really proud of this idea, and I thought it was really example. Imagine if they introduce maybe like 3, well, 1 at a time, but eventually introduce 3 new card types to the game. And I'm talking about over years and years and years, not just, okay, 1 set, boom, all this is out. Excuse me, guys, my throat. Sorry, but it's my allergies. Y'all bear with me. But check out this idea that I had, guys. What if they were to introduce equipment to the game, right? For, you know, I think a more universal term for like this sword we see in the top left corner, Mihawk's sword. What if they were to introduce equipment into the game, or basically weapons from the, you know, from the anime, from the lore, from the manga of One Piece? That's one option. Another option is the poneglyphs. I think this could be kind of cool. And I think, you know, and here's the thing. I'm not saying that I have this entire idea fleshed out and worked out in my head. Like, hey, I'm not working for Bandai, right? I'm not trying to make their next product or anything. That'd be very cool, but, you know, I don't get paid for that. So, but just as an idea, how cool would it be if there were these poneglyph things you could have, and maybe they just work as, like, walls, like big blockers that have really cool activate main effects, and maybe they can only be used in leaders that have the wisdom attribute, right? And then, like, maybe with the sword, maybe this can only be used for slash attribute leaders or characters. I don't know. That's something they'd have to work out in the balance. And then devil fruits could be associated with special users. Now, let me show you a little bit closer what that might look like. So this right here is kind of what I was thinking. Let me zoom down a little bit. Nah, I actually can't. If I zoom in, will it help? Not really. I'm going to move this real quick, guys. Let me move everything real quick. So you guys can pause and read this if you want to, but I'm going to remove my face cam, I'm going to remove the text, and I'm going to remove this. So this is kind of what I'm talking about, guys. Imagine if they put special items into the game, basically equipment pieces that you could attach to either characters or maybe leaders, and what they would, each one is very specific. So for example, for slash characters, maybe there are special equipments you can include in the game. And the way that you balance that is, okay, if you have a bunch of, you know, slash equipment in the game, but not enough slash characters, well, now all of a sudden that's not a very good deck build. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Likewise, with strike characters, maybe you can introduce things like hockey, right? You know the idea of armament hockey. I don't know how they would introduce that one, guys. It's just an idea. So, and again, none of this is fleshed out and perfect, but it's just an idea, right? And then for the special stuff, maybe give them access to devil fruits because they are special. You know, they have these special abilities that come from devil fruits. So why not have something like that tied into it? For range, they can also have equipment or something along those lines. And then for wisdom, like I said, maybe have something to do with poneglyphs or some type of special books. I don't know enough about the anime and about the manga and the lore. Are there any books of like wisdom in there? Any kind of special items, any kind of special, you know, I don't know, books, like I said, that could be associated with wisdom in the game that could be implemented into the TCG to give something to the characters with wisdom. Okay, now let me go ahead and bring my face back in here. Okay. And then we'll keep going with this idea. So this was like my main idea here with this entire, let me see, I'm just going to kind of like go through the bottom here. One thing I was saying was there might be other, you know, let me say this. I think there is still plenty, and I mean plenty of room for improvements to the game and increasing the mechanical side of it, introducing new mechanics to the game without making it too complicated. Like, for example, this is a standard playmat, right? One is the character area, 2 is the leader, 3 stage, 4 deck, 5 trash, 6 is the cost area, 7's for the dawn, and 8's for the life. Well, look at these two green rectangles I put in here, guys. Look at these green squares, these green rectangles in the middle. That's 2 spots that are just open. Maybe that could be an equipment piece. Maybe that could be for a poneglyph in the future. So I do think, now I think it's a little early. Like, let me say that up front. I do think it is a little bit early in the game to be worrying about stuff like that. However, like, what if they go in, what if they're about 4 blocks in? So that means 4 years into the game, and maybe things are getting a little bit stale. Well, this would be a great way that would be a great time to introduce something like what I'm showing on the screen here, where you have actual, you know, how do I say this? Actual equipment that you could introduce to the game that is completely built around the attribute traits of each character. Because otherwise, guys, you have this entire attribute system. Let me go back. Whoops. Yeah, look, even back then we were talking about the block sim a little bit, and that was like a year ago. But here you go. So this is, you know, this attribute right here. These things are very rarely used. I'm not saying they're not used at all. I mean, I got 2 examples. You know, I'm showing 2 examples on the screen here, and we looked at not Boa. Boa and L are more about like character, you know, limitations. But it was what's his name? Mihawk. So I understand they're messing with these ideas, but I think in the future that there's a lot of untapped potential that has to do with the attributes. And I hope the way that they deal with it going forward is introducing basically equipment to the game for your leaders or characters. I think that would be really, really cool for the game. Well, you know, and I'm not saying it'll be easy to balance, guys. Like, for example, let me just go to, let's go to the examples I had with the cards here. Like, for example, maybe this is a 5 cost equipment. You know, it costs 5 to equip to a character. Well, if it does that, then it needs to have a pretty powerful effect, right? If I'm going to pay 5, why wouldn't I just attach 5 Dawn? So it would have to do something like, you know, this character is now unblockable. You know, things like that. I'm just giving an example. Don't quote me on any of this, guys. I'm just trying to give examples. With the poneglyph, this would need, if it costs 5 to put this into play, that needs to be something that can sit like in the stage spot, and I can tap that to draw a card every turn. Because if I'm giving up 5 Dawn like this, that would be outrageous. And like I was saying earlier, maybe make it where only if your leader has the wisdom attribute, you can play this in the place of your stage, and then it has an activate main, tap, draw a card. And now every single turn as the game goes on, you're paying 5 and drawing a card. That will also, this I didn't intend for it to be this way, but just thinking about it, that would also give you a benefit from going first. Because, guys, going first, and if you're playing this out on a 5 Dawn turn, that was your entire turn. You did not develop anything. You see how it would still be pretty balanced, at least in my personal opinion. So really cool stuff there. Really cool potential. And by the way, I have no idea what these cards say, guys. This is in Japanese. I did not pick any specific card. I was just trying to show how, like notice this one has like a gold frame, like an event. This one I blacked out, made like a gray frame. And this one has like a blue background, like a stage. You know what I mean? There's just different ideas there. But anyway, let me see if there's anything else I might have missed on here. I'll leave off on this. I really want to know what you guys think about this idea, and now we're going to bring it back to the topic. Or after that, we're going to bring it back to the topic. But I really want to know what you guys think about this when it comes to introducing new mechanics in the future. We're not saying like next set or anything. We're talking about like, okay, if this game makes it to like the 4 or 5 year mark, maybe it's time to really see what we can get away with when it comes to game design and development. And I think they have so much untapped potential in this game. Like I said, introducing devil fruits as items, introducing weapons as items, messing around with the slash, strike, special, ranged, and wisdom attributes in the game, introducing the poneglyphs. I mention this every time. I'm sorry, guys. I have to mention it again. I just can't get over it. I think it would be so cool if they created an Exodia-style win condition built around collecting 4 or 5 poneglyphs or something like that. Or it's like, okay, you know, for the 5th one, you found the one piece and you win. That would be really cool, in my opinion, if they balanced it properly. Okay, all right, so now let's go back to the question one more time. I just want to make sure I did talk about it. Maybe for a topic of the day, what could be some new mechanics that can expand the game without making it unnecessarily complex or broken? Let me chime on that too real quick, especially with this idea here. And this is just one example. I'm sure that Bandai's already trying to come up with other examples. But this is just one example of how they could expand the game, and it would not be very complicated. For those who are not aware, or if like One Piece is your first ever TCG, in games like Magic, there are items, there are these things called artifacts. There's also enchantments, the more I think about it. You can enchant creatures in that game as well. However, there are these things called artifacts, and that would be a perfect example of a card like a sword. And in fact, maybe that ends up taking up a spot on your character's board. Like make the slash cards so important they actually go on the character field. And if you get up, you know, you can still only have 5 pieces there. So maybe make it a piece that is powerful enough to take up a character slot, but it never can be removed. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, once I paid the cost to put this into play, I'm going to be able to generate value for the rest of the game. However, I just gave up a character slot in order to do that. So now, in maximum, I can have up to 4 characters, unless they choose to replace it in the same way they replace a character. There could be rules that are made around this. And don't take any of this as like 100%, guys. These are just ideas that I've had, right? These are just basic ideas that I've tried to put together to push the game to the next level, looking into the future. So I think this would be really cool. I really want to know what you guys think. I don't know where I was going with all that, guys. I just want to get this idea out there and see what you guys thought about it. You guys tell me some ideas you have in the comment section below. What are some cool ways to expand the game, like this person's asking, where they're saying what would be some mechanics that can expand the game without making it unnecessarily complex or broken? What are some ideas you guys might have down in the comment section below? That's what. Let me finish that thought real quick and go back to it. What I was saying was there's equipment pieces in Magic the Gathering, and it'd be cool if they introduced that into One Piece. All an equipment piece is it sits on the board, and then there's usually a cost to attach it to one of your characters or creatures in that game. You attach it, and now it gets a buff from that. Hopefully that made sense. If you guys have any questions, by all means, ask in the comment section below. But anyway, I think it would just be a really cool idea. So now we can actually, you know, I know I'm all over the place, guys. It's hard to get my thoughts out coherently, you know, and like in a perfect way. It'll never be perfect, but in a good enough way for you guys to understand it when we're doing these sections, because they're completely, you know, I'm just ad-libbing, you know, we're just trying to talk through some things, coming up with things on the spot. It's almost like a blind reaction. So what do you guys think? Can y'all think of any cool ideas that Bandai could implement into the game in the future that would not make it unnecessarily complex? I love the way they worded this. That would not make it unnecessarily complex or broken. I really can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about that. I'm very curious to some of the ideas you guys might have. On top of that, what do you think about the ideas that I came up with? We can use these as just like an entry point to these new mechanics, or do you think it should go in a different direction? Or do you think that we shouldn't mess with the game? Is the game so pure right now in its most basic form? Like, let me show you guys like this. Is this like too perfect of a model because it's so basic and clean? Maybe they don't need to introduce new card types in the future. And again, I'm not talking about card types as in like character types or like, Straw Hats, Whitebeard, whatever. I'm talking about card types. So in other words, like leader card, Dawn card, character card, event card, stage card, and item cards, or, you know, equipment cards, whatever they want. They can call them whatever they want to. The name's not relevant. But just a whole brand new card type that would have an entire different border, okay? Because notice with the leader cards, the border is the color of whatever the leader is. So if it's a multicolor leader, it'll have both colors on there. The character cards, and we're not talking about full art stuff and like alternate art stuff, but the character cards have a white border. The event cards have like this tan golden type of border, and the stages have blue borders, and the Dawn has black borders. So maybe introduce a teal border, like I was showing in the next picture over. I think it'd be really cool. Where is it? Right there. I like this idea of maybe introducing a teal border. I know I didn't do it very well here, guys. This was kind of rushed back in the day, because if I'm not mistaken, this is still when I was teaching. So a lot of these videos, look at this, guys. This video is only 17 minutes, guys. That's rookie numbers, guys. That's rookie numbers right there for this channel. Y'all know that. But yeah, this was like a year ago. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much about this, but I do want to know what you guys think about this idea. Does it have potential? I personally think it does, and I actually hope this is the direction they choose to go with the game in the future. Let's introduce some of the legendary weapons. Let's get Whitebeard's pole arm or whatever. I don't know. Guys, don't butcher me in the comments section. I don't know what all the swords are called, because I know Zoro's got like 3 swords. Okay, that would be really cool, by the way. Maybe come out with a Zoro leader that actually has swords as characters, where basically once you get 3 of them, you know, he gets like superpowers, like super special attacks and things like that. It doesn't have to be that exactly. I'm just trying to give some ideas here, guys. Just trying to brainstorm, trying to theory craft, trying to think outside the box. Let's keep an open mind. That'd be real. I feel like that'd be really cool. And then, of course, you know, with Luffy and Sanji, give them some type of special powers having to do with their, you know, the way they use their body with armament hockey to just, you know, the kicks with Sanji, the punches with Luffy and all that. Could be really cool. Okay, I think that's about it for that one, guys. Hopefully I got the idea across there. To a great question to the Jedsters. I think I said that correctly. Absolutely awesome question. This is a topic I definitely wanted to cover at some point, and this was the perfect time to go over a previous idea I had to kind of bring it back to the light. Because, guys, a lot of my old videos, I feel like they had decent quality to them. And I've been very tempted to just literally recycle them now that I feel like my channel's got a little bit bigger, because I feel like they'd be received better now than when I was talking about them back then. But for anyone who is interested in the videos I'm talking about that I feel like could be pretty decent, I'll link this. Notice on the right here, guys. Hang on one second. Let me move some stuff again. I gotta adjust some stuff. I messed up everything on my other screen here, guys. Bear with me. Okay, so if I move this, and this, notice on the right here, guys, where I'm clicking with the mouse, the little circle, I have an entire playlist called the VV Theory videos, and I will link this playlist in the comment section below, along with this actual video that we were looking at today, you know, separately, even though it's in this playlist. Because, guys, I've put together this. If you just like listening to me ramble about game theory and about ideas like this, guys, you're looking at like hours and hours of of this kind of content. So I'll definitely link that for those who are interested in the comment section below. Okay, now I think we can move on. I would absolutely love for them to introduce this idea of adding another level of complexity, another layer of complexity to the game, as long as, like we're saying here, it's not too complex and it's not too easy to break. Because that would be great, right? That's just the game evolving. It's the game getting new mechanics. It's the game expanding a little bit and having cool new things to look forward to, cool new themes to go over within the game. So again, you guys tell me what y'all think. Let me try to summarize it here. Do you think the game should get any new mechanics in the future, or is it too clean and too pure the way it is? Because I know a lot of people are scared about change, and they don't want to see anything get messed up in the game they love. I totally respect that. So do you think it should stay the way it is? Do you think they should take on another card type, like equipment or items? Do you have another idea? Do you have another really cool idea to, like, to take the game into, you know, uncharted territory, so to speak, and maybe improve the game, you know, by introducing a new mechanic that you've thought of yourself, or a new card type or something like that you have an idea about. New alternate win cons and all that good stuff. Okay, that's it. I'm done rambling about this one. Great question to the Jedsters again. That was absolutely awesome. I love talking about this stuff. I could talk about it all day, but I also don't want to bore y'all as well. Okay, let's go ahead. We got 4 games on the sim now, guys. We got to hop over to that. We have got 4 games on the sim of Shanks. That's right, guys. Let me get the camera up here, and we got the speed. I got the volume off. Let's get the speed up to 2x, And here we go. Okay. Excuse me. Looks like I will be going, I think I'm going second. Yeah, the Blackbeard actually won the dice roll in this game. They chose to go first. I don't know if that's the right call. I feel like dropping down 10 cost Blackbeard right on curve is the way to go, but I could be wrong. Maybe they figured something out. They don't use their leader effect. I play out the Uda, do a top 5 search. They're going to swing for 6. I actually take it. That was a little bit too aggressive on my end, in my opinion. I think I actually should have countered out of that. But we'll talk more about that as the game goes on. I played a little greedily this game, and it actually pretty much kind of cost, it almost completely cost me. So they're going to go ahead and pop the card with Doc Q, the Lucky Rube, but we're going to pop the Laboon back with the effect. That's a card for a card. I'll take it. They swing in for 6. Again, I'm just aggressively taking these when I absolutely shouldn't be. I could just be countering out of these, right? I could just be using my leader effect and 1K countering out of these. But we'll talk about that more as the game goes on, because this game ends up being way closer than it should be. Okay, so I swing for 2 into 0, and they actually completely counter out. And again, that was me being greedy. I should have swung for 2 with that. So, okay, we have to talk about that as well, guys. Hang on. Okay, so right here. So I swing for 6 first. I shouldn't have. I just shouldn't have. So I should have swung for 2 into the Doc Q first, and then he wouldn't even have countered out, and then I could have swung for 7 at face. We would have got cards out of his hand no matter what, or life away. It wouldn't have mattered. So that was a play mistake. So we've already got 3 play mistakes. I've taken 2 hits I shouldn't have, and I completely goofed on the sequencing there. And this guy's dropping down Hajradin, and I understand now why he's trying to save this card. Okay, so we did counter out. Actually, excuse me, we didn't have to counter out because they had to tap their leader for Hajradin's effect. And here we go. We're on our 8 Dawn turn. They still have not used their leader effect at all, guys. And they're down to 5 cards in hand. I understand why. They only had 4 cards before we carried that character. So I play out another Yasop here, swinging in for 5 there. I play out this guy. Just stupid ideas here, guys. I'm trying to go as wide as possible. I don't want to say it's a stupid idea. I don't like calling anything stupid. That's almost like a bad word nowadays. But there was no reason for me to do that. Why not instead just keep that card in hand? But my idea was to go as wide as possible because I knew they were going to start removing characters. So who knows? Maybe that was the right call looking back, guys. Maybe that was the right call. They swing 7 into 2. I had a feeling they were going to get rid of that. But we can actually deal with this board pretty soundly. They're going to finally trash a card from hand, okay? We are going to swing for 3 into 1. He's going to let that go. We're going to swing for 5 into face here. They counter out. Perfect. And now we're going to swing 12 into 7 because the Jack got minus 1,000 power from the effect of the Shanks. Okay, so Shanks versus Blackbeard here. This is turning out to be a pretty epic... this is probably going to be a pretty epic matchup. So they swing 7 into 5. Why am I taking these hits? I don't know, guys. I can't tell you because I don't get it. This is just a bad decision. I've taken at least 2 hits that I should have taken, arguably 3, because I could have used the effect there. Actually, well, no, okay, that one I couldn't use my effect on because my effect was turned off by Marshall D. Teach. Excuse me. So that one might have been fine because I'd have had to use 2 cards from hand. All right, we'll let that one slide. We'll let that one slide. Okay, so right here, we're going to swing for 5. I'm trying to do a little bit of math in my hand. I might need to play out double blockers here and sit on a Rad Beam, or threaten a Rad Beam. So swing for 5. They might just take this to draw a card, right? Okay, so right here, yeah, we're just going to play out the Rayleigh. I can't use my own play effects because of the leader effect. And here we go. So they kind of have to chain together another Teach here because, I mean, that Shanks is just a looming threat, right? The Shanks is just too dangerous. They play out another Marshall D. Teach. Yep. They're going to swing for 7. I think I can very easily block this in 2K counter and then give him a different target to attack into. I'll get 2 blocks out of 1 character, basically. So that allowed me to do a 2K counter. He's going to swing for 5. We can just 2K counter out of this. And we should. Let's see if I do it, guys. Like I said, I played so greedy this game. And we're going to talk about that towards the end. So they swing for a 12 and a 6. I am going to save the bigger blocker. There's no reason not to because I don't get any extra value from the Lucky Roo here. Okay, and here we go. They did not use their leader effect because they only have 2 cards in hand. So right here, we're going to swing for 5. They pretty much have to take it. I don't even think they have a choice. No trigger. Seems good. And here we go. We're going to play out the Rayleigh. So right here, let me just say, too, I feel like this was just another play mistake. I feel like it was just yet another play mistake. Because what I should have done there was smashed into the Hajradin, maybe. You know, like with my, well, I don't know. Then he would have definitely blocked it, so maybe not, maybe not. Okay, but we do finally catch a break after making about 4, maybe 5 play mistakes this game. Check this out, guys. He swings for 5. That's a mistake, right? That is absolutely a mistake here. I could block here, but I think the correct call would be to actually use the counter in my hand. Just in case. Or actually, excuse me, just use my leader's effect. And then watch this. Wait till you see his hand. This guy made a blunder of blunders. Because now I've pretty much won the game. Unless they can remove my characters. They swing for 3. Pass. They messed up. Look what they had in their hand. Now, understand, I should have 2 more life. Okay, like bare minimum, I should have 2 more life. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But they had a Doc Q in hand, which can pop a 1 cost or lower character. Excuse me. Where all they had to do was use their Hajradin to tap down their leader to rest my Silver's Rayleigh. Okay, and if they rest my, or excuse me, not rest, to KO my Silver's Rayleigh with the Doc Q, that's only a 2 Dawn investment. Now, yes, it is true that their guy, their Hajradin is a 3K right now, right? Because he has minus 4,000, minus 1,000 from the Shanks, minus another 3,000 from the Rayleigh. So he is a 3,000 power character right now, and I can drop him to a 2 with my leader's effect, right? Drop him to a 2. He'll have 8 Dawn left. He can swing for 10. I only had a 2. I could only get 210. So this guy actually made a massive play mistake by doing things the way he did. But then again, hang on. I say that, but then if I couldn't get out of that attack, I could get out of the next one, which was going to be a 9K attack from the Martial D Teach. So actually, I think we might have been fine. Because remember, guys, let me go back real quick. So right here. Oh, no, I used the leader effect. So hang on. Let me redo the math real quick. I only have a 2K and a 1K. Is it hitting? Is it playing? Okay, here we go. So I used the leader effect on the Martial D Teach. Right, so I didn't actually have to counter out with anything from hand. So, in other words, here's the thing. Had they done this correctly, let me go to their hand now. Let me hit play and go to their hand. So, here's how this should have gone. So, Hajradin can just tap down your leader, like tap down your own leader as Hajradin, and then it does minus 4 cost to a character. So, minus 4 cost to Rayleigh. That was for free, but they lose their leader's attack. Then you play out the Doc Q, and you KO the Silver's Rayleigh with that effect. And that was only 2 Dawn, so they still have 8 Dawn left for the turn. Now, they don't get to attack with their leader, but they have 3 other attacks. They have a 9,000 power Martial D Teach, and they have a 3,000 power Hajradin. Here's where it gets a little bit complicated. I would still then have my leader effect. Like I said, I'd be able to drop the Hajradin down to 2,000, so they would probably swing. So with 8 Dawn left, they could probably go 9. Hang on. They could go for... It's too complicated. I'm just wasting time, guys. Whatever the case is, I should have an extra life, and this shouldn't even be a conversation. I just greedily did not counter out earlier on in the game. So I'm just going to chalk that up to we got pretty lucky that this guy made a massive blunder, and it cost him the game. But sequencing is a big deal, and making sure you're going through all the options in your head. This guy thought, okay, how's about I just swing for 5, get his blocker down, and then I'll just smash in with everything else? It's like, no, you need to remove my blocker because you have the means to do so in hand, and then you could swing for lethal the other way. You know, the way that makes more sense. Okay, now let's go to the next game. So that was versus Blackbeard. That was versus Martial D Teach. All right, where are we at? That's the Blackbeard one. Okay, now we have a game versus Sanji. Okay, now this game is not exactly a serious game, but I want you guys to see this green-blue Sanji deck this guy was cooking up with. You know, no pun intended, right? The chef is absolutely cooking in this one. They play out a Momonosuke. Let's see what they do with it. They do a top 5 search. They snag a card. I didn't look at what it was. Oh, it was another Momo, and then this search is up. I think it was an Izo. Yeah, so Momo and Otama, excuse me. So one searched up a Momo, the other searched up an Otama. Then we're gonna swing. We're gonna bash into both of those. Play out Lucky Roo. Your turn. He did not even attack last turn because I don't think he could because of my leader effect. So it plays out Otama. Plays out Ryuma, popping my Uda here. Again, he just can't even attack because of my leader's effect. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to play out S-Snake, I guess. We got 5 Dawn left. We're swinging in for 9. Your turn, sitting on a Rad Beam, just in case I need it. I've got a blocker. There's so many things I can do right now. And now, next turn, I'll have enough to play out Ben Beckman, and I can pop the Building Snake. I can pop pretty much any character at that point, trashing it. Okay, I'm going to take that hit just to get some cards in hand. Very nice. I get a Rayleigh. Now I have a perfect curve going from Rayleigh into Shanks. They're going to play out the Hiyori, cheating out the Yamasan, And they're probably going to swing for 6 or 7 here. Swing for 6. We'll just probably 2K counter out. Okay, very good. Now, they're going to use, you can be my samurai, and I think very soon here, unfortunately, I think they might give up soon for no reason. It makes me so sad. So I'm going to give, well, it's not for no reason. They kind of just concede because I wiped their board here. So I had to do a little bit of math. So it's minus 3,000 to the Ryoma, minus 2,000 and pop the Yamasan, 5 and 3. And let's see what he does. Yep, and he lets it go. Okay, and now it's their turn. And guys, this deck seems kind of cool though. It's just the only thing that I'm a little bit confused on is like, we haven't really seen him use the leader effect yet. But look at all this card draw he's been doing, guys. So there was the Izo. He's going to tap down, play out Yamasan, tap those down, draw 2, and this is where he gives up. So real quick, notice what is in his hand. Guys, next turn, I was actually going to get aggressive and go like Rayleigh into the board and then Shanks into the board, and then he's going to be able to answer back with a Shanks of his own to pop mine. Yes, I have a follow-up Shanks, but so does he. Right, so I don't think the game was completely over yet, but I did at least want to show this game off, even though it wasn't like a crazy good game or anything. It was an interesting game, showing off what I think is some really cool stuff going on over there, guys. Boa Hancock, Jozu, Shanks. Blue-green has some really strong colors. Maybe they should run this through Rosinante instead of Shanks. I don't know. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below about this game. All right, next up we have a game of Blue Doflamingo. This is a more meta-style game here. And guys, Shanks is just fun to play too. I've played a few different versions, and the most success I've had, and this is including the version we're running today, is just a tempo deck. You just go turn 1 Searcher, turn 2 Lucky, going second, turn 1 Searcher, turn 2 Lucky Roo, turn 3 Yasop, turn 4 Rayleigh, turn 5 Shanks. It's really that simple, guys. And we are running a one of Goldie Roger. This is not my list. We'll talk about that when we get to it as well. Okay, swinging 7 into 5. We're going to use the leader effect here, I think, or we might just take it. Excuse me. Yep, they cheat out the Boa, so I'm glad we didn't use leader effect, even though it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Swinging for 8. We take it. Seems good. Excuse me. I think the best way to play against Shanks if you're playing Blue Doflamingo is absolutely to go aggressive. Like, that's the way to go for sure. Because it's just a matter of time before I start chaining Rayleighs into Shanks into Rayleighs into Shanks. You know, it just becomes unbearable at a certain point. Removing characters along the way, weakening characters while developing a big board, and so on. So I go ahead and block. They swing with the, so they didn't want to lose their Boa, so they swing with the Boa first. I use the blocker Lucky Roo to take out 2 attacks, blocking the Boa and KOing the Jinbei before it could attack. They did that just right. We'll swing 7 into 5. Let's see if he wants to save this or not. A very relevant choice right now. This is a very relevant decision. Saving this might be the best call if he has the means to do it without completely throwing his hand away. But we'll see what happens. Okay, he lets it go. I kind of agree with that decision. I don't think you should just throw cards away to save a small character like that, especially when I'm going to be 6,000 power this entire next turn. Okay, so they play out a Perona. They're going to do a top 5 arrangement of their deck. And guys, look at my hand. I'm a little low on counter power. I'm just going to be honest. So we're gonna use leader effect and 2K counter out of this one. And then he's going to probably swing for 8 or 9. Yep, swing for 8, of course, using leader effect, cheating out a Boa, arranging top 3, and then we're going to take this one. But here's where the deck really starts to shine. Once you get into that 8 Dawn range, the 8, 9, 10 Dawn range, guys, it's just back and forth. I'm going to swing 5 into 4 here. Let's see if he wants to give me any cards, because I've got Yasop coming in too. It's going to take 2 more cards out of hand. And then that character will be a 4K on their turn if they choose to save it. I don't remember. I don't think they saved this one. I can't remember. I could be wrong. But I don't think they saved this one. Yeah. We'll go 6 in the face. They'll gladly take that. They've taken their first life of the game on turn 5, going into turn 5 for them. Okay. So they're about to be on a 9 Dawn turn. And let's see what they do here. Because Gravity Blade's not exactly good into my board. So he has to really consider what to do here. All right. So they're going to swing for 7 into 5, playing out the Gecko Moria. Honestly, I think I should use this. Minus 1K, 2K counter. Yep. That happens. And then, okay. So that's a very interesting interaction where, let me pause for a second. So the Doffy attacks and their win attacking effect happens first. And then, before the on-play can resolve from the Gecko, we have to choose to use our Shanks or not. Use the Shanks or don't use the Shanks. Then their on play will resolve, and then we can counter out. So it's actually very interesting timing. Okay, a little bit confusing for newer players for sure. Are we on 2x speed? Is that what it is, man? I feel like this... Yeah, we're on 2x speed. Okay, this is just a long game. Okay, well, I've got a Yasop on the board. I've got a Rayleigh, and I've got more Rayleighs in hand. I can do almost whatever I want to right here, guys. So right here, I think we're going to go attach 1 Dawn to Yasop, swing 7 into Gecko, minus 1,000 to the Boa, dropping her down to a 5,000 for the turn. I think that's going to be the best way to go about this. Then we can pop it very easily with Rayleigh while making the Jinbei a negative 3,000 on their turn. So 7 into here, minus 1 there. I was hoping, hey, maybe they'll give me the Boa. Maybe they'll give me the Boa Hancock. Never lucky, though. Watch them do that, and I just didn't remember. It would be a play mistake if they did. Let me say that right now. It'd be a play mistake because then I can pop the Jinbei. Okay, so they let it go. Seems good. All right, now we're going to go ahead and play out the... Actually, I think we're going to do all of our attacks first, and then we'll go, then we'll use the Rayleigh so they don't know what we're doing. Never let your opponent know your next move, right? Always try to confuse them. Very good. So minus 3, minus 2, pop the Boa, and now their Jinbei is a 2,000 power character. It's going to take them 3 Dawn just to be able to attack once with that character. Like minimum, 3 Dawn. They play out a Jinbei into another Boa. Okay, hey, they got all the Boas in the world, but we got all the Rayleighs, so I'm feeling good about that exchange. Okay, let's see what they do here. They are going to load 4 and swing for 6. Okay, well, I can get out of that pretty soundly, and I think we're going to here. All right, so we'll do minus 1 and give him a Uda, and then he'll probably swing for 7. Okay, they play out an Edward Weevil from the top of their life, and they set, or from the top of their deck, they set it there with the Boa Hancock, and here we go. Well, guys, the game's pretty much in my favor at this point, right? Because he's not going for my Yasop, which I don't disagree with. Like, going for my face is probably more relevant because it's easier to protect the Yasop. Totally deja vu for this guy. 7 into your 5, minus 1 to your Boa, and this board is gone, right? There's no way this board's going to make it. One thing I will say about Silver's Rayleigh is he is excellent into Doffy. Excellent. Or any deck that tries to go wide. Okay, so that was a mistake in my opinion. But hey, I'm not upset about that. I'm definitely not upset about it. I think we're going to go and play out the Rayleigh here. Minus 3, popping the... Minus 3 on the Weevil. Minus 2 to the Boa. She already had minus 1 from the Yasop. We popped that. Now we're going 5 into 3 here. And I still have 2 more attacks. There's just no getting out of this. 2 8K attacks in the 5Ks. He can try to save this if he wants to, but that's just not going to help him, right? It's just not going to help him. 8 into 5, and I think he might concede here very soon. Yep. He had a Perfume Femur, but I still have 2 life, and look what my last life is. It's a Rad Beam, and I did leave 1 Dawn active just in case. It's good practice to leave 1 Dawn open when you can, running decks that run 1-cost events that are like the plus 4Ks. But yeah, in this situation here, I'm feeling very comfortable, even though I have very limited counter power in hand. I have 2 life. He'll only have 2 relevant attacks. So, and then I still have my leader effect. I have a Rad Beam coming. I mean, it's just, I was in a pretty decent position there. And look at my board. Like, he would have to go into my board at that point, and that's fine with me too, because now I get an extra turn to set up. And an extra turn to eat up his board, while also trying, it's easier to save my characters because they're larger than my leader's power. So really good stuff there. All right, we got one more game, guys. One more game. We got a game versus Green Purple Lim. This is a fun leader, man. The Green Purple Lim is a fun leader. So is Shanks, but Green Purple Lim is actually very interesting. Okay, here we go. Excuse me. All right, we're going to start off with an Uda search. I chose to go second. I know you probably should choose to go first against Lim just to get them off their perfect curve, so to speak. But, oh well. We'll see what happens, right? I do think it might be technically better to go second against, first against Lim. Okay, so they're up to 4 Dawn with me now. So we're going to go ahead and swing in for 5, swing in for 6, and we're going to call it a day on that, right? I don't have any Lucky Roo, unfortunately, this turn. I only have 4 Dawn, so I can't play out the Yasop. And yeah, that Building Snake is very annoying for my opponent, so they're going to have to get rid of that, because that allows me to do a lot of stuff later in the game with cards like Ben Beckman, cards like Rayleigh, it allows me to hit some really big characters later in the game. Okay, so let's see what they choose to do here. If I remember correctly, I hate to always spoil things like this. I know some people get annoyed by that. But this is a turn where they're going to finally get some usefulness of the Luffy card. There's a 5-cost 6k Luffy with a 1k counter for Odyssey that says, I think it says, hang on, yeah, they're gonna have to attack first. It says if you have 2 or more rested character cards, then you can rest a character that costs 5 or less. So I give a -1 from the leader, and then I'm going to do a 1k counter to get out of that 6k. They're going to use the leader effect here to cheat out the Luffy. So I'm going to pause real quick. Excuse me, you can rest down a 5 or lower character. So on play, if you have 2 or more rested characters, choose up to one of your opponent's cost 6 or lower characters, or up to one of your opponent's Dawn and rest it. So that's, I didn't actually realize the Dawn part. So definitely something to take into consideration if you're trying to leave one up for Rad Beam. You might have to leave 2 up. Okay, end of turn, the Chopper stands up. Seems good. We'll play out Yasop here on curve. We'll smash in for 7 into the 6. Why not face? Because this gets cards out of hand. So we got a very crucial 2k counter out of their hand. Not so much that the card is any good. I don't actually remember what that ADO does. But the fact that we got a 2k counter out of their hand, very important. And they're already on their 9 Dawn turn, guys. I'm about to be on my 8 Dawn turn. This is not looking great. They play out a Boncray, Mr. 2, Boncray Bentham. And they're going to ramp a Dawn from that. They have 6 Dawn left for the turn. Let's see what they choose to do with it. That Chopper's actually really annoying, right? Because it could stand up every single turn. At least potentially. Okay. Here we go. Swinging for 7 into 6 here. Okay, we're going to take that. We did get a Rad Beam, which is nice. They've got 4 Dawn left. They're probably going to cheat out a character, maybe. We'll have to see. Maybe not. Never mind. So they're going to swing in for 6 here. And we are a 6,000 power character. This one we'll just use leader effect, and then they can swing in for 8, and we'll just take this. Actually, they're only going to swing in for 7. 2k counter is not a bad idea here, keeping my life high, because I don't know what their in-game character is. Are they running the Kaido Lin? Are they running Shanks? Are they running 9 cost Zoro? What late-game character are they trying to capitalize on? Right here, this guy thought he had me, so he plays out. So let's look at that card. Okay, right here. So I attack for 2 into 1, and watch what happens. So attack 2 into 1, and he plays out Soul Frankie Swing Arm Boxing Solid is the name of that event. 1 cost event. Up to one of your leader or characters gains plus 2,000 power during this battle. Then, if your leader has the Odyssey type and you have 2 or more rested characters, set up to 2 of your characters as active. So this guy thought he had me right there, right? Like, watch what happens, though. We're about to see the true power of Rayleigh in this situation. I'm like, okay, that was pretty strong. That was pretty solid, pretty unfortunate. So he stands up his 2 characters, gets out of that attack. Sure, no problem. But I have a treat for him. I actually have a real treat for this guy here. We'll swing for 5. He counters out. We'll swing for 6. He'll probably take it. He only has 2 cards left in hand. Okay. We'll play out the Rayleigh. We'll go. So did you see that, guys? Hang on. So remember. Actually, let me hit play real quick. And once we play out the Rayleigh. So watch this. So Rayleigh can give minus 3,000 power to a character until the start of their next turn. Excuse me, until the end of their next turn. It can give minus 2,000 power to a character until the start of your next turn. And then, or to the end of their next turn, whatever, however it's worded. And then it can pop a character with 3,000 power or less. So we're going to go minus 3,000 power to the Luffy, turn him down to a 3,000 power character. Minus 2,000 power to the Chopper, turn him to a 2,000 power character. And then pop a 3,000 power character or less, the Boncray, the Mr. 2 Boncray Bentham. So he did play around my board very well, but it's kind of hard to play around that play right there with Rayleigh. That's one of the big perks of Rayleigh. Like I said, if the board's going wide, Rayleigh is an incredible character. They're going to play out the 10 cost Kaido Lin. Okay, we're going to take that. Who cares? And he can't even swing with anything else, guys. He's got a 3K and a 2K on the board. So, we've got a very technical turn lined up here. Very, very technical. How would you deal with this? Pause. Let me pause. How would you deal with this turn? We can try to go for lethal. Okay, that is a real option. We could try to go for lethal. Let's do the lethal math real quick. We have 10 Dawn, and we have a 5,000 power swing with the leader, 6,000 with our Yasop, and 8,000 with our Rayleigh. So 5 plus 6 is 11. 11 plus 8 is 19. Okay, so let's just call it 20. So it's easier for math, and we'll subtract 1 from the attacks. So 20 plus 10 Dawn, 30. So we can swing for 9, 10, 10. That's not a risk that I'm willing to take when I have to go through 2 life cards and they already have 3 cards in life. that's not really a risk that I want to take. So here we go. Watch how we do this, guys. How would you deal with this turn right here? Okay, so first things first, it's like, why not get the full value from Yasop? And it's not going to be attaching 4 to him. See, I started doing the math, like, wait a minute. Let's see how we want to do this. Attach 1 to Yasop, swing for 7, -1. So, what happened there? We're going to force 2 cards out of their hand or a life card. We got a life card. Now watch this. It's like, wait, but now how are you going to get rid of the Kaido Linlin if you can't go for lethal? Now we're going to swing for 5. We could swing for 7 technically, but no, we're going to swing for 5 with the with our leader and get 1 card out of their hand. Because if they don't do that, if they don't counter out of the 5k attack, we're swinging for 17 to face. They're not getting out of that with 5 cards. They have no Dawn active. So watch this, guys. And here's the thing: if they counter out of the Shanks attack, then I can actually go for the Linlin. So again, I'm processing this. It's easier to process after you've done the play, but at the time I'm like, how in the world am I supposed to do this? What's the right call? Swing for 5, right? Watch, that's what I ended up doing. Swing for 5 with Shanks, and watch, and here we go. Come on, you got this, VV. Swing for 5. Now they have to give me a card from hand. So the card that we gave them from the Yasop doesn't matter anymore. It's like we totally negated it. They tap out not because they couldn't counter out, but because they could counter out. They had a 1k, a 2k, a 1k, and a 1k in hand. Right? I believe that's what that is. Is the purple... hang on. I need to see something real quick. Is the purple chopper a 2k counter? That's the only thing that I'm not 100% sure on. Let me go down to 1x speed. I'll try to stop him when I go over it up there. It's just a 1k. So he has 3 1ks and a 2k in hand. So he'll give me a 1k and he'll have 4k counter left. Well, here's the thing. Now I'm going to load all but 1 Dawn onto my Rayleigh, and that card is out of here. I'm swinging 17. It'll be 8 plus 8, 16, excuse me. It'll be 16 into 11, because remember, they lost minus 1,000 power from the Yasop. And basically what I'm saying is if that doesn't get rid of him, it's going to get every card out of his hand, and we tried, right? Because at that point, he's probably going to win, right? At that point, he would probably win the game. But who knows? I still had 4 Dawn. I did still have 4 life left, so I potentially could have gotten out of most of that, and then like slammed down. The next card in my deck was a Shanks, so maybe I could have gotten him in that way. But long story short, I was just hoping that it would have been able to take out the Kaido Linlin, and it would have been, by the way, because like I said, he only has plus 4,000 in hand after he 1k counters out of this 5k for my leader, and then I'm going to swing 8 plus 8 is 16 into 11. That would take 13, 15... 17. That would have taken 3 2k counters to get out of. All right, good game. That was a fun one. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's go ahead and check out the deck list, guys. Let me get out of here. I did already preload the red cards in. So this is the list I'm running. I don't believe this is my creation here. In fact, I'm almost 99% positive it is this 10. Yeah, this is it. So the list that I'm running is from is it Fukuoka area. This is a 10-2 list for Shanks. Here's the list. I'm going to read it now over here. So it is so the leader Shanks, 4 Otama, 2 Sanji, 4 Rayleigh, 3 Uda, 3 of the 10 cost Shanks, the one with Rush, 2 of the 5 cost Rayleigh, 4 Building Snake, 4 Ben Beckman, 4 Hongo, 4 Yasop, 4 Lime Juice, 4 Lucky Roo, 1 Goldie Roger. So it's like 3 Shanks and 1 Roger. So it's like you have 4 of the Shanks, but like one's like souped up, but it's not searchable. So it's kind of hard to say. And then 4 Edward Newgate. This card did not come up, I don't think even one time in my playtesting. Not saying it's a bad card, it just never came up. And then 3 Rad Beams, really solid. Oh, guys, my head was in the way for all that. That's hilarious. My bad. There we go, guys. So the Otama, Sanji, Rayleigh. Pause these if you need to. I know even when my head is in the way, you can still pause and read the text under it, but it looks a lot better when you can see the picture as well and associate the a name to a the face to a name, or the name to a face. Okay, there we go. And guys, that's about it. I don't want to blabber on for too much longer. This is a very high level deck, a very top tier deck in OP09. If there's any of these cards you see on the screen here that you need to get that are available, like make sure you have your Rad Beams. If you want to play Shanks in OP09, which is about a month away for us in the West, make sure you have your Otamas. Sanji, I think any 2K counter will be good here, but Sanji's really nice into the Nami matchup. You can start drawing your own life cards and getting more, other options that way. The Rayleighs are a little expensive right now, guys. You might have to proceed with caution when buying these. Uda comes out in 9. All of these come out in OP09 all the way up until here. So then make sure you get your new gates and make sure you get your rad beams. Okay, the only card on this list I would hesitate in buying at 4 of is the Silver's Rayleigh, because I think I've seen some lists only run 3, and I've seen others run 4. So that's going to come down to what you're trying to do, because even if you're trying to play like Red Blue Marco, I think I've even seen Red Blue Marco decks run this. Let me check something real quick, guys. Where's Marco at? He's OP0. Isn't he 8? Oh, okay. I'm like, wait, where is it? I must be going crazy. No, it's in OP08. Okay. Like, it's not in the East is what I'm trying to say. So in OP08, for us over here in the West, Marco's been seeing a lot of play. Here's the most recent list that we can find on here. And it's only running 2 Rayleighs. Okay, it's running 2 of this Shanks. That's kind of interesting. But it's only running 2 of the Rayleigh card. So it depends on what you're trying to do. And let's just look at like the top 5 decks right now for Shanks that come up on here, and we'll see how many Rayleighs they're running on average, just so you have an idea of what to run. So this is the list we just looked at. This is the 10 and 2 list. It was running 4 Rayleighs. Okay, so he's running 4 Rayleighs. Let's look at the next one. Actually, just big tournaments. Top 16, 8 and 1. Okay, let's see how many Rayleighs he's running. 0 Rayleighs in this one. So there you go. That's good news. This went 8 and 1, top 16 in a 480 player tournament, and it's not even running the Rayleighs. Unless this list is wrong, guys, it looks like this is like now it is running the 5 cost Rayleigh, but you guys know what I mean. I'm talking about the 8 cost. So it's not running it at all unless this list is wrong. It's running dragons in the place of it. So maybe that's something to consider when you're putting the deck together. Or you guys tell me if I looked over it. My bad, guys. I just didn't see it. Here's an 8 and 1 list as well. And maybe we'll call it on this one. This one's running 3 Rayleighs. This one's running 4 Zoros. This one's one of the more aggressive versions, maybe, because it's running Zoros, 4 Shanks, 2 Rogers. Yeah, this one might be a little bit more aggressively, built. All right, that's it, guys. But the list I was running, like I said, I did not come up with this. This was a 10 and 2 list at Fukuoka, and really strong. It was playing very well. I know we didn't have the best matchups today, but still, the deck was performing very well. All right, we're done. Let's go ahead and end this off, guys. Big shout out to everybody who supports the channel, guys, whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, whatever you're doing. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for helping the channel grow. Thank you to everybody on the VV Pirates Playmat supporter page. Hope you guys are enjoying your playmat. And then last but not least, of course, on the patrons page here, we got we got 2 new people in here, really. Big shout out to Zach and Blue Bofi. Okay, awesome. Hopefully I said that right, Bofi. I think that's the way they have it. Like instead of Blue Dofi, it's like Blue Bofi. Really cool stuff. Okay, thank you guys so much. Thank you to everybody who supports me. It means so much, guys. It means the world to me. All right, I'm done. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed. Until next time, guys. Peace.